Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hi. Oh, let's say good afternoon from my neck of the woods. But good morning, I'm sure, to many people out there. Good morning. I'm Judy. I'm one of the expert tutors here at E2 Language. And it's Sunday afternoon for me. Good afternoon. Now, I've just got a little bit of a glitch there, everybody. Hang on a sec. That's just so funny. So, back in business. Sorry about that, everybody. And you'd think after doing this for so long that I wouldn't be making silly mistakes like that. Things happen, don't they? That's life. Now, let me just greet a few of our friends here. Sinu, hi to you. Alaba, good morning. Yes, Sharon, good morning. Norport, good morning. Alaba, my day was going quite well until that, but I'll make up for it. Thesney, hello to you. Bituan, Florence, hi darling. Lovely to have you with us this afternoon. Oops, lots of people just suddenly joined. I've lost everybody. Richel, hi, hello to you from the UK. Hopefully it's a sunny Sunday morning. And same to you. Annie, hi to you. Kine, good afternoon. There we go. Jude, Earl, Chidodzi, hello. Hi, Joyce. Lovely to have you with us today. Krisa, Rhoda, Manjeet, Elizabeth, Spruthi, Jennifer. Hi to everyone and you, Jennifer. Darling, if you want to make greetings to everybody, you need to put your to all panelists and attendees. Because in fact, I'm the only panelist. So it's beautiful that everybody says hello to everybody from everywhere, but you need to share it so other people can read it on the chat line. Yes, Michelle Vignese, I'm going to call it Vignese. Good afternoon. Oh no, it's gloomy. Look, Ritil, it might improve. Hi, Athera, Bisto. Yes. Hi, Wing. What could have happened to your day? Well, actually, I made a lovely batch of biscuits, Alaba, which I do usually about once a week. Last week, I experimented, and they weren't very nice. But today they've come out beautifully. There we are. If we'd had a party, I could have shared. There you are. Doughty, lovely to have you with us. And Honey, Yardley, hi Yardley from India. Gorgeous to have you with us today. Earl from the UAE and Mihad and Jasperit. Also, I need to welcome all our friends on YouTube. Yes, guys, look, anybody that's on YouTube, of course, it's a free class. You can, the only problem with the YouTube is I can't chat with you. You can't, let's say, take part in our lesson as such, but it is free. You can join E2 Language now. I know a message comes up, so join for free to E2 Language, and then you can join the class too. GB, good afternoon, and good afternoon, as you said, to everyone. Yes, what a lovely group. Now, I wonder, has anyone, did anyone take the exam yesterday or know anyone that took it? You know, I'm always dying to know how it went. I suppose probably if you did, the last thing you want to do would be to come back anyway. And Renu, the last thing you probably want to do to come back. But the thing is, it's always good to share your experiences. So if you've got any friends or colleagues that took the exam last week, force them to come back and, you know, just tell us how it was. I know there's a lot of exam centres opening for the 27th, so that's great news. And I hope a lot of you that are here with us today can actually take the exam on the 27th. I've been doing a lot of mini mock tests lately. Yoda, yes, the exam centres are open here in Perth. I'm not sure really in other areas of Australia, but I know we're doing okay. So they are open in here. But by the end of the month, there seems to be almost, double the number of places. I wonder if any of you or anybody knows anybody also that took part in the experiment with the online course, which I think also happened yesterday. I'll be waiting during the week to get some feedback, from my colleagues and from the OET. But that's something that's exciting as far as progress. Now, of course, oh, Remmel, oh, there are, Rodar, there are some exam centres opened in the UK, but from what I could understand, they seem to be out of town. I had students in Bristol, I had students in Bournemouth, somewhere else also out of the centre. So that seems to be the trend in the UK. Yes. Well, let's just carry on a little bit, move on. I think we should really, shouldn't we? Yes, we are doing a class on writing for nurses. But of course, anybody else that isn't a nurse is always welcome, because in fact, they are case notes and the whole process is similar with all, with all types of medical professionals. I love Jaspit. Jaspit, darling, put your all panelists and attendees, and then you can get an answer from other people. Jasprit says, is OET easy? I'm new to it. Darling, it's not easy, but they're not supposed to be easy. If you're well prepared, it's very reasonable because it has that advantage of having a restricted, let's say, area. It is about medical professionals, and the writing and speaking, of course, is exclusively for nurses, mind you. But within each career, whether it's nurses, doctors, or veterinarians, or whatever, there's a wide variety of things that could be mentioned. But with the correct preparation, it is doable. That's what I like about it, especially writing, because although we have the challenge of selecting the case notes, the writing itself is quite basic. And in fact, that's the beauty and that's the important. You need to write basically. It's not like IELTS academic where you have to write, quite complicated and, that sort of writing. Here it's direct and straight to the point. So, and you've got a lot of the vocabulary, of course, from the notes. In your speaking, it's good because you've got the task on a card, again with the vocabulary, again with the construction of what you're doing. So it really helps you along. That's the good thing about the OET. So, happy preparation, everybody. Now, talk about happy, this is fun. I actually did mine last week. 20-second video on your phone, say where you're located and how E2 language makes you feel connected. Yes, there's the link that you can submit it. You can also submit it on Instagram or Facebook, or just send it to help@e2language.com as an attachment. Yeah, do it. They're going to use it. For students, you get a $10 voucher. They gave it to me too. Not that I can use it. I wish I could pass it on to somebody. However, they're going to be using it in some sort of campaign. So it's wonderful if we can all take part. Yes, there we go. Now, for those who exclusively need to improve their writing, we do have the 2 writing feedbacks for writing intensive. Now, you might notice it is a little bit more expensive than some other generic feedback companies, let's say. But the difference with ours, firstly, the material is very high quality. It's challenging, that's what I like it, exam-like case notes. However, the difference, of course, is the comprehensive score report and the feedback. So you're not just marked on, for example, grammar and expression, but it's all down to what is needed for the OET. And that's the number one thing for OET. You've got to give them what they want, whether it's in writing or speaking, you know. I knew that would happen. It's just my cat. She always scratches on the door. There we go. Sorry, I think it happened last week too. I fed her before the class, so she wouldn't, you know, demand to be eaten, but to be fed. But here she is back in again with me. So, and of course, one of the best and my favorite things, of course, is having tutorials with students. Now, each tutorial package has writing assessments. Okay, so you get the writing assessment, you complete it, take one, then it's sent to me or Samantha, for those who don't know Samantha. We correct it, we analyze it, and we do correct it, and we also give you a comprehensive score. However, the advantage of the tutorial is that you can discuss it with the tutor in class. You can do speaking practice, you can do listening and reading, whatever you need, but it's your 45 minutes full of doing things that are going to make a difference to your level, your mark, etc. So, you know, that's one of the great things. What's happening now, of course, as well as all that, you get the mini mock test included, which I know is very, very useful. There, you've got like a miniature version of the exam, writing feedback, and a face-to-face mini mock speaking test, which is, I know, I really feel has helped a lot of people, because until you put yourself on the line and actually do it, unless you do that, you don't realize how many other criteria and aspects of the speaking exam that you forget about. And that's the great thing, because in the analysis, we will pick up, we'll also tell you too, well, I do sometimes, but you will pick up and it gives you the ideas and how to improve. So very, very useful. And that's included, although you can buy the mini mock test separately. Yes. Now, oh, Jaspit, how long does it take to prepare for the OET? Darling, it's going to depend on your initial level when you start, how long, how much you prepare every day. Yes, it is to be a structured letter. Sheena, look, when we say a structured letter, the letter does not have a template. It is definitely every time different. So, Rodat, just go to, I don't have a link, I can't send it to you at the moment, but just go to e2language.com packages, and they will all come around. There are those ones, they're all very reasonably priced. If you do your video, you'll get $10 off before. So do the video before you sign up for everything, and then you can take $10 off. Yes. How much does the mini mock test? Oh, dear me, dear me, dear me. Oh, while in a sec, I'll get it all out. So someone's just asked me also about the number of words. Look, the guideline is 180 to 200. However, and I've said this before, it's not like IELTS. They don't count them. What's important as far as word count is what causes the word count. Either you've included irrelevant information and gone over, or you haven't written concisely, and that you've repeated things and sort of made it too complicated, thus giving far too many words. So it's not the fact that you've gone overboard with the words, because they're pretty flexible, but it's why you've done it. Okay, so it's that combination. Oh, Vignes, well, you don't need much more. And I think just that little bit of extra help and concentrate is going to make a huge difference. Darling, everybody, let's get going, because, you know, I really don't want to, I want to get going. Yes. But there's lots of, any questions? I'm here all the time, and especially at the end, to ask anything you need. So just to go through our class today, we're going to test our English with a quiz. That's all about grammar. Yeah, people are improving, I've noticed, but there are some common mistakes that are pretty common. So we're going to quickly have a look at that. We're going to talk about completing the writing task, things like analyzing the task, selecting the relevant case notes. We need to plan our writing. Then we've got the start of the letter, which is pretty standard. So you need a sort of template for that. Today, very, very interesting, we've got the introduction, which I call the purpose paragraph, or they do also, and the request paragraphs. So the first and the last, very important. We're going to look at the model letter of what we, you know, the whole thing. Have a look at a couple of other criteria, and then we're going to complete a quiz on those things. So just before I go on, talk about the tenses, some of the key tenses that are used in the writing, you can get a paper and pen out to do the quiz, or the chat box is always available for people to do it. Now, let's quickly run through our popular verb tenses in OET writing. So we've got simple present, of course. See, let's get myself out of the way. Mr. Lin urgently requires your expert assistance. So what we've got here is a statement. So we use that for a present statement, something that's true. Another thing I find a lot of people don't realize, we use it when we talk about something that happens regularly, frequently, sometimes, always. So it's that idea of like a repetitive thing, you know? Good. I mean, I teach live class every Sunday. So that's what we're doing. But the difference is with the present continuous is what we do when we talk about what we're doing now. Like I am teaching now the live class for writing. So Mrs. Adams is currently receiving. Now that's interesting. As well as what we're doing now, we do use it for a temporary, let's say, not action, a temporary thing that's going on, that is, let's say, going on around this time, not necessarily actually as we speak, but around this time. So, but it has to be temporary. Okay, present perfect, another dodgy one. I think, you know, we can clear it up. Miss Smith has been treated with cold compression therapy. Now, we're talking about something that's happened. Okay, it is in passive voice here, so we has been treated. What we don't mention is when it happened. And that's the different, I'm just going to pop down there really, to the simple past, where we know when something happened. Here we're talking about something that happened, but we don't say when. We also use it with expressions like for and since. So something that started in the past and is going up to now, it's still true now. So that's quite a useful tense. Whereas we have the present perfect continuous, the same sort of idea, I've been doing something since or for, but we want to focus, we use that when we want to focus on how long it's been going on for, or since when. So there's that idea of talking about and focusing on the duration of what we're doing. It is also used when something has been, let's say, repeated over a time. So it sort of happens again over a time, but repeatedly. Okay, so it's a useful, think about making emphasis. That's the difference between that one and the present perfect. Then we've got our simple past. Mr. Jones was admitted to St. Andrews 2 weeks after his operation. So there we know when it happened. It has finished, okay, so it's completed, and we know when it happened. So just a few things. Don't forget, on our core skills, there's a lot of work you can do and research on grammar tenses. and also on E2 School, which is really good, and you can join for free. Now, 60 seconds, everybody, and oh, just open that chat line. Everybody can join. Manjeet, yes, well, of course, this is for the class. Mohammed, darling, of course, tutorials are excellent, but live classes are also good, but of course it's not tailored exactly to you. Oh, you mean online classes? Well, the great thing about online classes is that you can be having lessons with a tutor that is, expertly, experienced with, for example, someone like me. For the OET, we've all finished a course for teachers from OET, and we are experienced, and it's very what do you call it, focused on what we're doing. Yes, I've got one answer, everybody. Oh, I've got a few. But Mohammed, they're very different. It's good fun. It's useful to join the live classes, but the tutorial is another thing. And if you do one or two or three tutorials, you'll get your money's worth. It'll make that difference. Okay. Thanks everybody for doing that hard work and having a go. And let's see. So we've got here about Rebecca. Well, that's funny because she's our OET lady. I'm sure a lot of you have seen her on Facebook and the YouTube. Yes. So I wonder if they meant her. Rebecca hadn't realized that we've got another tense here, and I'll talk about it in a second, how faint she was feeling until she got up, staggered, and nearly fell over. So we've got three things that happened in the past. She got up, she staggered, she fell over. The realization happened before that, or in case you hadn't realized. So that's why we use the past perfect, because it is before the other three things happen, and it's sort of separate. Okay. Now, although his chart states nil by mouth, it seems his family has been sneaking food into the ward. Now, this is exactly what I was talking to you before, and the present perfect continuous. You see, we don't have anything about for how long they've been doing it or since when, but we have that idea that they've been doing it repeatedly. So it's useful, very useful tense for various things. The paramedics attempted CPR on the victim, but he had swallowed too much water and died at the scene. Again, the past perfect, because it's before they attempted, before he died. Okay, so we've got that real specific difference. The GP suggested Pamela stop smoking if she is serious about overcoming her breathlessness. Now, here we've got a funny sort of word, the stop, or the way it is, because it is the subjunctive, which is not used very often in English anymore. Some languages I know it's quite used, especially Italian that I also know. But it's just, let's say, instead of saying the GP suggested Pamela stops smoking, which, to tell you the truth, you often hear today, the more formal way is the subjunctive, which is just like the infinitive, doesn't change. Okay, so I mean, if the GP said, I suggest you stop smoking, well, you wouldn't understand if it's a subjunctive or the ordinary present tense, because I stop, you stop. But in the third person, like Pamela, then we notice that we haven't used an S at the end of stop. So lots and lots of people got in a bit late, and I'd already stopped, but thank you. Oh, Wingley, beautiful, well done, well done. And I hope I've answered some questions or any queries, but I said core skills on your student page and E2 School, but also in any grammar book, you can find plenty of things and places to focus on your grammar. It's sad to get it wrong. I do see quite a bit. Now, another thing that's interesting with the OET, we don't pick up, well, grammar, you know, being perfect in your grammar, whether you're speaking or especially in your writing, isn't life and death. Where it makes an effect is if making that mistake in grammar gives the reader another impression or another different information. And one of the criteria for OET is to be accurate. So if you've used the wrong grammar, okay, you've used the wrong grammar, it's not life and death. But the bigger problem is, has it caused me, the reader, to misunderstand the information? Okay, so that's the great thing about OET. It's very practical. Everything, you know, we're not just making sure everybody has grammar because we're grammar freaks. No, it has very important, let's say, I can't remember the word, I can only think of it in Greek. Anyway, circumstances, let's say, if it doesn't, if it's not correct. So that's more about it. And also, of course, in your speaking, I can see someone, how can we organize case notes? How much does one cost? Yes, guys, how much does one-to-one? Oh, it depends on your package, my darling, the anonymous attendee. And uni, we will be talking about organizing the case notes. That's to come when we talk about planning our letters and things. So the test, what do we need to do? We need to read and analyze the task, number one. We need to read and analyze the case notes, a big achievement and a big accomplishment, very important, those case notes. And we need to write a letter. It's going to be one of referral, discharge, or transfer. That's what the test requires you to do. So we've got those 5 excruciating minutes of reading where we can't write or underline anything. So we need to use that time and focus. We've got to think about, by reading the task, who we're writing to, and let's say the job they do. That's the most important thing. So we need to think about their job and what action we want them to take. Okay, then we need to read the case notes and understand the key facts about the condition. There's headings and subheadings which really help you to clear up the, you know, make it clear where the information is, have it clearly organized. They're very useful. And then we need to identify that relevant information. Decide then how relevant it is, highly or quite, and also getting an idea that where things are going to connect with. Okay, so we need to make a plan, usually 5 paragraphs, it can be 6, I wouldn't go lower than that. And then we need to write carefully. We've got to focus that each paragraph, and that's what I'm saying about the number of paragraphs, has one main clear idea. Okay, so the reading is 5 minutes. How do we analyze the task? We think, who are we writing to? So what information is that person going to need? Okay, what action should they take? So that's going to play an important role also on the information. And we can find that usually in the discharge plan or the treatment plan. So in a combination of who we're writing to, the action they need, then it's going to help us analyze the task much better and choose the key information and think about if they have any prior knowledge of that patient. So then we need to filter those sorts of things out. When we read the case notes, based on our analysis, which things are relevant, which things are repeated, mentioned more than once, and then need to be combined, and then of course, which things are not relevant. Okay, so lots to do. Here we have our task. Now, as soon as we can start reading, we need to analyze that task. Who am I writing to? What's going on where they are, let's say? What action do I want them to take? What does the reader need to know about the patient to be able to take that action or do that action? Well, okay. And what does the reader already know, if anything. So it doesn't take usually more than a minute, but I'm going to give you a minute to just pop any ideas from that into the chat line. No, if anything. So it doesn't take usually more than a minute, but I'm going to give you. So let's have a look, everybody. Opa. Beautiful. Oh, Jaspit. Thanks, Roska. Thanks, Ahmed. Yes. Ah, interesting, the idea of the urgency. Definitely. So Rodar, we wouldn't use their first name when we write to them. Miss Haddock. All right, very important. I think I stopped. Oh, I clicked the yeah. So we can carry on then. Sorry about the little clock, everybody. Yes, it's a little bit dodgy, isn't it? So, who am I writing to? Yes, that. Well, we know her name, Mrs. Maureen Haddock. But more important, what she is. She's the head day surgery nurse at the Red Hill Endoscopy Centre. So she's in charge of day surgery. And what action we want them to do? We want them to schedule exploratory operation, the urgent colonoscopy and endoscopy. So it's urgent. What does the reader need to know? Well, we need to know she's going to need the reason for the urgent colonoscopy and endoscopy. Now, as soon as I read this, I always think, yes, well, we need to be pretty persuasive when we're trying to get somebody, you know, all those centers, the centers where you need to do tests. So often there's long queues, aren't there? Long waiting lists. So we need to persuade our Miss Haddock to let our patient have their endoscopy and colonoscopy ASAP. So we need to have our powers of persuasion. Very important. And that is through the case notes. Now, we're always talking about what is relevant, what is repeated, what is not relevant, but mainly what is relevant and not relevant. And why it's so important is belongs to two of the criteria, 7 marks each, the whole list of criteria, but this focuses a lot. Key information is included, no important details are missing. Okay, and the content from case notes is accurately represented. So we talk about being accurate, remember. Another thing, another criteria is the conciseness, which means how long and how, let's say, it's easy to read. No irrelevant information is included. It plays a really important role. Okay, so here we've got the case notes and 5 minutes I'm going to give you to have a look at them. More, just be darling, it must be something to do with your computer because I don't think anybody else has any issues. Just see what's going on with your, you know, your speaker. You see, Manjeet can hear. So it's a personal issue there. Something's going on in your technical things. Work at it because it's, well, okay. Good, Judith, lovely. All right, it's Mr. Adam White. Yeah. We really need to convince her to bring our patient's appointment, well, forward, not bring it forward, but have it early. Bituin, very, very nice. Great. Yep. That's interesting, Sheena. And yes, you know, we don't always need to mention alcohol and things, but here we've got an excessive amount of alcohol, which of course we don't express like that. We use the details. Family history, good one, Judith. Yes. Allergies. So family history has been mentioned. Have a look, Florence, what you've done. Yep. The plan for review. Yes. Good. Usher. Okay, that's just an extra point, the sensitivity to codeine. Definitely Onyena, very, very good. What is currently going on with her? The bowel changes, definitely. Lovely subject for a Sunday afternoon, isn't it? Dear me. But she's had the recent flare up. Edelyn, that's a nice one. Yes. We really need to make it sort of dramatize it, but sort of as emphatic as possible to convince her to give us an appointment as soon as she can. If anybody has an issue or would like to say something by raising their hand, I can't really do much about it. But if you would like to pop your questions into the chat, more than happy. How to say, well, let's just putting out. Oopsie, missed that one. What was it? Every time someone sends a message. Earl. I'm not sure. Just experiment a bit, Earl. Yeah? Try different options. I know if you have all panelists and attendees, and then everybody can see what you've written. I'm not sure. Beautiful. What is RV sharp is review. Okay. Lashimi, that's right, her eating habits, family history. Yes, perfect. Not bad, everybody. Thank you for your feedback, might I say, your input, probably the best expression I should using. Now I'm going to put them all together. You see, as far as the red ones, they are the relevant information. We've got the alcohol there, we've got the regular irregular eating habits for sure. We need to mention the medications, okay? And we talked just about the fact that she doesn't have any allergies, but she's sensitive to the codeine. Now, the whole story of anything happening down there, constipation, the idea of the problem with the flatulence, and then more recently, the diagnosis of GERD. Family history, we've got only the rectal cancer, and they've actually talked about the gastritis in the mother. The breast cancer, I know it's another cancer, but they don't mention it. Now, we need to talk about what had happened, or what happened on that first presentation. So all those details. You see, this is the trick. Colonoscopy, endoscopy, minimum 3-month waiting period. That's why needs expediting. We need to expedite. We need to bring it a lot forward. And that's why I talked about your powers of persuasion. Now, just we need to explain that we've sort of done our homework and we're bringing her him, and she's not going to be any trouble because we've provided her a booklet. So she knows all about it and she's going to be very well behaved. Then, as far as the management, just the different tests we've done, always good to mention her BMI. There we are talking again about that. There's an alert sticker, you see, so we don't need to mention it once or twice, it's just once. And then, so the plan, review 1 week post-procedure by a doctor and a nurse. And the results of the colonoscopy will determine the course of action, their course of action. So everybody is waiting. All right, so that whole idea of urgency. It's the first urgency writing we've had, actually. We haven't really had anything desperately urgency, so it's going to be very useful. Now, as far as planning and what we do, every time it's different. You need to be flexible. There's no strict plan for any type of letter. I sort of personally like to set the scene, you might say, or start the letter explaining what has brought us to be writing this letter of referral. I think first things first. I prefer that before family history, for example, but you know, all sorts of things. There's no real plan, you know, no exact way. Everything needs to change. Now, important points, the introduction and the request, well, especially the introduction, and of course, the request paragraph. The introduction sentence has 3 points for its clarity and for how full it is, let's say, and then the request and the action, also it's part of one of the categories, and have we stated, let's say, what we, you know, the request. So when we're talking about our planning and, you know, all that preparation, the address and the salutation has an outline, so that's good, it's easy. We can make sure we do that. We need to take notes and plan. So we need to think about how many paragraphs and what's going to go into each one. And then while we write, we've got to keep on checking what we're writing. Is it relevant? Is it organized? Is it prioritized with the most important things first? And then we need to leave a few minutes to check our work. So I want you to have a go here with the address. I think most people know that. We've got the date of the test. The date is the date of the test, of course. This is pretty standard. No punctuation up here. Then we've got the re, just with a small e, patient's name, their title, their full name, either the age or the date of birth, depends on what you're given. You don't need to work out the age if you're given the date of birth, it's not your job. And we have the just the title and the family name, not the first name. So we don't use Miss Maureen, it's the family name. And then we've got the salutation, yours sincerely, whatever. So 90 seconds there to have a go, everybody. There we go. pop open the chat line so everybody. So, Bituin, yours sincerely doesn't take an apostrophe. Yes, of course, if it's charge nurse, registered nurse, if it specifies and says you are, make sure you put that. Okay, but yours is a capital Y and no apostrophe. Lovely Anne, lovely Earl, beautiful. Definitely her title. Wow, someone's just popped those in absolutely magnificently. Florence, thank you, my darling. There we go. Hema, beautiful. Rhoda, yep, the full name. Awo, I'm going to call you Awo, sorry. Make sure it's you do have the capitals. Rosca, looking fantastic. What I like about having that right, because even when I correct letters, we talk about first impression. If that's correct, you give your marker a first impression, a good first impression. And you know, you can only make a first impression once. So it's important to get this standard thing correct. You know, there's no reason to make a mistake. So what I've seen has been absolutely fantastic so far. Well done, everybody. I've seen a huge difference since we've done a lot more live classes. Miss Maureen Haddock, head day surgery nurse, Red Hill Endoscopy Centre. And we've got the address, Lakeside. Right, we've got the date. This should be a small e, not a capital. Anyway, it's much better to have Mr. Adam White. Tut, tut. Anyway, Mr. Adam White, date of birth, and then that. Dear, and you could put it also with numbers. You don't have to write the dates. In fact, I like to keep it all in numbers. I like to keep it homogeneous, so everything is similar. But anyway, you certainly won't get marked down if you write it in a different way. Dear Miss Haddock, there we go. Yours sincerely. We've got practice nurse here. Okay, so there we've got it all done beautifully. We need to now decide on our plan. How many paragraphs and what will go into each paragraph? How are we going to get it well organized? You know, I never suggest to anybody to write a rough copy. Sometimes, however, when you're planning, not planning your, okay, you've got to plan on a piece of paper, but when you're sort of setting up your paragraph, sometimes you need to make sure that you've got it in the right order. And so sometimes it might be useful just to put a quick sketch on a piece of paper, you know, with part of the sentences, just to make sure that you've got them connected well and prioritized. But everybody is different. So how many paragraphs and what's going to go into each one? So here we've got the intro and we've got the request. What information does that recipient need? So let's think of both of those. I want everybody to have a bit of a go. How? Oh, thanks, Wee. Thanks for helping people. So what are we going to put in that introduction paragraph, our purpose paragraph? And then what things are you going to include in your request paragraph? Exciting times ahead, guys. Come on. It's too easy one. Well, they're short anyway. Ahmed, remember the E has a small e because it in actual fact is a word. If you put RE, it is initials and it means two words, but it doesn't. When we've got their FBE, full blood examination. So that's why you shouldn't have two capitals. Okay. Oh, look at this stupid thing. Come on. There we go. So, Manjeet, 4 paragraphs. Well, you know, what we want to do Now, what I'm looking for in the chat line, everybody, is which couple of things are you going to mention about Mr. Adam White in the introduction, and what are you going to put in the request paragraph? Okay. And we definitely don't need to put so many details, darling. Most of that would go in our first paragraph or the second. In the introduction, we wouldn't put the social background. Yes, we're just talking about the purpose. Yes. So we're talking about the endoscopy, of course, and the urgency of it. We've got to make, let's say, you know, that we've got to get to our Mrs. Haddock to make sure. Yes, I think probably between there's a referral letter. Yes, that we need the colonoscopy and the endoscopy urgently, but we need also that little bit of detail why. Now let's have a look here. We've got you know, some things here. So I don't know if I'd put all that into the intro. And we wouldn't put here about the waiting period, but you know, needs expedited, needs to be brought forward, needs to happen urgently. And then our request, look at all these things. That the bowel cancer tests were inconclusive. We're waiting for the colonoscopy. We're very worried. And the fact that you'd explained the pre-procedure assessment and management and provided. But this is really what we want, that famous colonoscopy. There's a lot of information there. Let's write that intro. So we can say things, I'm writing, or the reason for writing this letter, or I'm writing to refer. We need that urgent. Concerns about, yes, very, very useful, Mr. White. And we've got the word recent. So we need to sort of push it all. Now, it can be one long sentence. It can be, I almost prefer two sentences. Lovely Rebecca. Karuna, good to have you with us. I haven't greeted you yet. Regarding, I wouldn't put regarding Karuna. Just doesn't really work there. Due to would be, you know, probably better, because he has because there are concerns about, you know. That's hang on a second. That's a little bit more of a request paragraph than the introduction. Yeah. Try again. Okay. So wing, I would stop after GERD. You will have your chance to include that in your first and second paragraphs. Okay, so we're just choosing the, you know, the most important features. Fesni, I would actually use 2 paragraphs, 2 sentences with that one, would sit much better. Don't be afraid, guys, to use 2 short sentences, you know. It's much easier to read. And, you know, you don't have to sort of think, well, oh, that's a lot. Not bad, Anne, just a bit with, and also because of. So I probably would have put due to recent blood in the stool, comma, GERD, and a family history of cancer. This is what we talk about being precise, concise, yeah? Comma after stool, GERD, and then the and. All right, Asha. It's an urgent, everybody. Lovely, Rosca, very nice. An urgent, yes. Not bad, Bituin too, not bad. Judith, we just sort of need to know why. Okay, and we don't really need to put a patient from our facility, it's obvious. So remove that, but put in a little bit why. Sunitha, not Mr. Adam, Mr. White. Okay, Sunitha, not bad. It's good to have those 2 sentences. See how well it works. Good, Elizabeth. Not bad at all. Not bad, Mohammed. We don't really need to write, I'm writing this letter, actually, Rhoda. I'm writing to refer, you know. Nice one, nice, short and sweet. So, Thara, we need to know why. Okay, we just need to know his issue. Arun, lovely. In connection, not in connection. No, that's not used here really. In connection with. Nah, by patient. No, and we wouldn't use by patient Adam. Definitely not. Okay, so you need to work on that, Chrisara. Okay, my darling. And doesn't writing to refer. No, I'm writing to refer the patient for. Okay, I think it's, you know, to request an urgent. You could. Oh, Infinite Smart 3+. This letter is being written. Oh, too formal, my darling. Far too formal. Okay, I'm writing. Don't do it in the passive. Doesn't help. Okay. Yes, Yardley. No, too formal again. I'm writing. We don't need to do that sort of formality anymore. Who is in need? Hema, who is in need of an urgent. Oh my God, guys, I can't. I need to move on. Dear me, time is going. I'm sorry about that, but you know, I'm glad you've all had a go, and I will, while you're doing the next option, I will be reading them. I'm writing to refer Mr. White for an urgent colonoscopy and doctor, owing to concerns regarding his family history and adverse health issues, including blood in his stool and GERD. Okay, they've added a few bits and bobs, but you know, it doesn't have to be like that. So while I keep on reading, we've got the request. So we've got here to advance. You know, there's the phrasal verb to bring forward. which is probably, although, you know, it's not really a phrasal verb, but it's sort of, you could use to advance, to expedite, and don't worry about using words that are actually on the case notes. No issue at all. Immediate health concerns, we will discuss. Helpful, watch just one L. Greatly beneficial, that's our sort of, you know, trying to convince her, persuade her to do it. Family history, has been informed. That's about with the booklet. Oopsie. So another quick go at writing that request. Okay, Renu, yes. I think we could do I'm writing, I'm requesting, or I'm writing to request, rather than, I know it's a referral letter, but it would work. Don't forget an urgent colonoscopy. Who wrote Uni is having, no, who has. Remember, I said that at the beginning. It's not what's happening now. It's a repetitive thing in a way. She has. All right. Yes, okay. Or we don't need 62-year-old or elderly. Thank you, Mohammed. Who says 62 years old is elderly? That is very much off. So the rest is not bad, definitely. But yes, no labeling people. And as we said, we've got his date of birth and we know his age. The age doesn't need to be repeated. It is in the re section. It's the top of the letter. We don't need it. We don't need to use it in the body of our letter. So let's talk about requesting. I would be grateful. I would appreciate. Please, kindly. How could we do that? We need to really convince our lovely Miss Haddock to find an appointment. Okay, and oh, I like. Not bad, Wing. Okay, probably a little bit wordy, but good. Anybody else had a go? Oh, thank you, Rosca. Well, the father, the rectal cancer, Rosca, probably wouldn't be in the request paragraph. And Aaron, we do not need to make those connections pertaining to the above concerns. That is completely off for OET. All right. Just, we've got the concerns above, they're there. We don't need to mention them. We know they're there. We start off, it would be greatly appreciated. And we don't want him to take over this case. No, she's not taking over the case. You understand? If you could perform the endoscopy and the colonoscopy, or you know, expedite the appointment. Expedite Mr. Thing's appointment. So be careful. We don't need the other thing. So direct, straight to the point. That's a good one. To rule out his condition. That doesn't say anything really. Zara, I wouldn't say that, to rule out You know, so in fact, we need to have those results because of our, you know, appointment we've got coming up. Not sure we're going to rule out because he might have it. So it's, you know, it's a bit strange to write that. Okay, we've gone back to the Winnie, not bad. Thara, not do the arrangement, arrange. You see, you've saved yourself 3 words, arrange and urgent, okay. So I wouldn't say to rule out. Does it say that anywhere about ruling it out? No. To investigate his condition. Lovely, Florence. Very, very good. Okay, between, we wouldn't put all that in the final paragraph because you've already mentioned it. Okay, you could put due to Mr. White's immediate health concerns. Okay, please kindly facilitate urgent colonoscopy and endoscopy, things like that. So sometimes I can see a few in an urgent. Yes. Okay. So let's have a look. It would be greatly beneficial. Yes, probably a little bit stronger than helpful, but okay. For Mr. White to advance the date of his endoscopy and colonoscopy, considering the immediate health concerns, his immediate and his family history. He has been provided with an information booklet regarding both procedures, the results of which we will discuss with him within 1 week. Okay, so just, you know, they talked about that appointment. We're working on like a timeline here. Now, let's have a look at the whole letter, and please feel free to take a copy of it. I'm writing to refer Mr. White for an urgent colonoscopy and endoscopy, owing to concerns regarding his family history and recent adverse health issues, including blood in his stool and GERD. So they've sort of put a title and then they've included a couple. On presentation today, so this is where we really get into the details, Mr. White expressed concerns over an inconclusive bowel cancer screen test, coupled with 2 weeks of changes in his bowel movements and 3 months of GERD. Since 1991, he has paid repeated visits to his GP due to constipation. In 2010, he was admitted to hospital with excessive flatulence, and in 2017 returned to his doctor after experiencing reflux. So we've got a very important timeline there. Another paragraph, Mr. White's father is in remission following rectal cancer, he didn't die, and his grandmother had gastritis. Okay, now, food habits. Mr. White consumes more than 50 units of alcohol per week and has a BMI of 29.7. He also has irregular eating habits. He has no known allergies, but is sensitive to codeine and is currently taking Macrobol and the other one. Please note his pathology results are due in 3 days. So again, that's thinking, well, we've got the pathology, we've got the urgency, and we've got that short and very important timeline. Okay, so then we've got our request. It would be greatly beneficial for Mr. White to advance the date of his endoscopy and colonoscopy, considering the immediate health concerns and his family history. Okay, and then informing them, he's been provided with an information booklet regarding both procedures, the results of which we will discuss with him within 1 week. So everything is about time. You understand? We don't always do things like that because sometimes time isn't important, but here we really want to push her to the extent. Okay. Yes, they've just mentioned the GERD in the beginning, and then they have re-mentioned it, and the blood, I think the blood in the stool. Oh, they've talked about blood in the stool, and they've talked about changes in his bowel movement. Okay, it's absolutely not an issue. Okay, now guys, that's about it. I'm just going to quickly swizz on to talking about formality. We've had a few very, very formal things. So we've got here, I'm honored to make your acquaintance. How nice to meet you, or it's lovely to meet you. This is actually speaking spoken English. Hey, how are you? Well, look, just going to go along here and have a look at something that's wrong with this conversation. I know we're doing speaking, but perhaps you can pick it up. We've got the different good morning, madam. And then there's Mrs. Jones explaining about the foot, about the wart. I've tried cures from the chemist. About 3 months ago, I went to a doctor and she froze it off. And then we've got a strange result from Mr. Brown. Let's have a look-see. Oh, nasty little bugger. So we've got some sort of disparity there on the type of writing. Let's have a look what would make it much better. Okay. Hello, Miss Jones. How can I help you today? So we've got a sort of average formality. I see. Well, let's have a look. Something needs to be, sometimes we need to freeze them off. Okay, that will probably do. If not, you might need one more session. Okay. And then we've got this very, very informal, my esteemed colleague. Okay. And here instead we just write dear Dr. Antonius. Okay. So too informal, not informal enough is a bit of an issue. So we've got a couple of extracts here. It's not really from today's letter, but anyway, there are 5 issues. Oh, they are. Yes, yes. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, everybody. If you can pinpoint those 5 issues. There we go. That's right, we've got that phrasal verb. Well done, sharp 201. Thank you very much. Yes, good Elizabeth, nice one. And then we've got informal, we've got what I call it hyperformal and hypoformal. So we've got hypoformal and hyperformal, keeping it in a medical way. Yes. Well done, Phoebe. Oh yes, hi Phoebe. I was talking. Yeah, I remember you. Tell you about my son's little Phoebe. My cat's actually Matilda, a very Australian name. Good Yardley. Beautiful. Well done. Yes, Hemmer. Interesting. Funny sorts of things. And again, that famous turn up. I'm just going to have a quick go through it. I think we don't need all that time. So when he presented, okay, since 1991, we can use his name again, or we can just use he. We've already got his name once in the paragraph, it's enough. Okay, he has paid repeated visits. No, someone put that was wrong. You pay a visit. You can visit or you can pay a visit. Yes, it's pretty formal actually. A superfluity of, so excessive, much better word. And then of course, slamming down, oh dear, consuming, and I would say much better taking, because you take medication, you don't really consume it. Okay, his pathology results will turn up, okay, are due. Okay, so we've got those things that need to be changed a little bit. Now, well done everybody for your work. I'm just going to include something from our blog. Everybody can see it, I hope. The 7 deadly sins of OET writing. Very, very interesting on the E2 language blog. So here we've got a few links that might be useful for you. Of course, the OET test information about writing. Don't forget, there is a lot of new information on the OET preparation portal. Make sure you all go to that. And there's the wonderful videos about writing that Rebecca has recently done. Very, very useful. There's always the podcast. That's better for sort of listening and reading. Absolutely amazing. Or TED Talks. Any problems, help, it should be at e2language.com. Okay, oh, well, that's signing up. or upgrading. Yes, you can find it all on your, sometimes you can see it here. Students online, no, not live classes, recording classes. No, I can't see it on that little example. But before we go, guys, it's great fun. Have a go. Alaba, I have absolutely not heard that, my darling. I don't think there's a reason for it to change. It changed last year and radically. So it has recently changed, and that's because the medical professionals in the UK, in Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, asked the OET, or together with the OET, they thought and they prepared a much more realistic writing task that is going to prepare the students not only in English but also in the practical skills that are necessary for writing. So I haven't heard about any changes, Alaba. So you know, get some inspiration. Oh, Rebecca, so no, so Rebecca, I've just got that. That's interesting. Rebecca, I thought actually they had done the first practice test of the OET at home, but Rebecca is actually doing it, everybody, on the 25th of June, which is interesting. I thought they'd actually already done it. So that's very, very good, Rebecca, thanks for telling us that. And I haven't heard any feedback. You'll be the one who's going to give us the feedback. Yes. Well, I'm glad, Earl, it was a nice experience. And every day there are free live classes if you're still on a free package. And then if you're not, also there are more than one or two live classes available every single day and twice a day. The live classes, there is one live class every day that's for free, but you don't have the chance for, you know, the choosing your time. Asha, now I'm in Perth, Asha, in Western Australia. So here now it's 5:15. The sun has just set. And in the UK, of course, it's, I'm not quite sure, is it about midday? I think, or probably a little bit earlier than that. So yes, definitely, Rebecca, all the best. Keep, Karuna, you can use all numbers or the date. There is absolutely no rule. Okay, so whatever you find easier as far as the dates. Oh, it's after 10. Oh, okay, so yes, you are 7 hours different now in the UK. Guys, you know, I'll be back for speaking for everybody, not only nurses, doctors, vets, podiatrists, you name it. We're all joined Wednesday, 1 hour earlier than today's class. Okay, so it's a bit early for the UK people, but it's summer there, so you can all get up bright and early. Don't forget, they are all recorded. You can, if you're a paying member, you can see them on your recorded tutorials list. But I think it's fun to join. I really hope you picked up some interesting information today. And, you know, just keep practicing, keep with us, and I will, do we need to use dots? Yes, you can use the dots before the date of birth. And I'll really look forward to seeing you either in a mini mock test or in a tutorial or next Wednesday at our speaking class. So for those who have the day off today because it's Sunday, enjoy the rest of your day. And the speaking on Wednesday is 1 hour before the beginning of this one. Thanks, Jennifer. It's always my pleasure to be with you here today and hopefully make that little bit of difference. You can write Dear Duty Doctor exactly Infinix Smart 3 Plus. Yes. Can we leave a little space at the first paragraph? Of course you can leave a bit of space, definitely. Okay, but you know, doing the mini mock test, booking a couple of tutorials or one tutorial, you'll see, and we have time to go through all the details of your writing very closely. And that's the advantage of taking tutorials, a one-to-one tutorial. It's a little bit more money, but it's well worth your value. Okay, bye everybody, enjoy your evening.